Hi, my name is Jason Burney. The topic that I chose is purpose. I chose it for a number of different reasons, but I'll take you through my PowerPoint here and we'll discuss them. Um, so the first thing when we talk about purpose is why you have to ask yourself a couple questions. Why play sports? Statistics show that only 2% of high school students receive any type of scholarship to play their sport at the college level. So there comes a debate, between whether to play for the purpose of trying to obtain a college scholarship or to play because of the good things that come with playing sport and being involved with the team, the different character traits that you learn along the way. Um, I have one slide here where we actually compare playing for the purpose of a scholarship versus playing for the purpose of just obtaining good character traits. If just looking at the scholarship data, it's highly unlikely that athletes will obtain a college scholarship. Some of the negatives that come with it, just kind of playing and having that outside pressure from your parents, from coaches, so forth, include high stress, whereas compared to just playing because you love the game and just because you want to learn good character through the game, you have more of an openness to learn. Um, on the other side, just looking at playing for the purpose of trying to obtain a college scholarship kind of makes playing the sport job-like, whereas on the other hand, if you're playing just because you love to play, you're able to enjoy the competition that the game brings forth. Um, in addition, outside pressures are associated with when you talk about playing for a scholarship. You have pressure from your coaches. As you kind of get along through your high school career, you get into your junior senior year when you see people around you who have been verbally committing to play their sport in college, and you don't have a college scholarship. That's a lot of unnecessary pressure that gets put on the student athlete. If you're just playing the game for the right reasons, just to build good character, then it's almost a good pressure that you feel when you're in a game situation. That's why you play the game, because you like to compete. You enjoy working as part of a team. That pressure is okay. It's actually good for you. But when you have outside pressure, in addition to the pressures associated with the game, that's no good. When you're looking at playing just for the purpose of a scholarship, you kind of have that success or failure. If you get a scholarship, that's a great success. If you don't, you're viewing it, your experience in that sport is failure. It's not good. It's definitely not good for teenage kids, young kids. I just think, it's kind of playing the game for all the wrong reasons. Um, as a coach, we have to look at, why do we spend so much time, in the gym, on the athletic field? Why do we coach? When you're talking about, purpose behind doing what you do. Um, in Seasons of Life, Coach Joe Ehrman, he was asked about his Gilman football team and the coaching staff successes. He stated but we try to evaluate our staff two ways. One is our wins and losses, the outcomes of the season, and the other is the amount of ministry that we've done with our kids. So as a coach, that's talking about just doing good deeds, building character in his team. When you ask about coaching and the amount of time that coaching requires, it's substantial. A lot of sacrifices that need to be made in order to go out there and be a successful coach. And some of the gratifications of coaching doesn't happen until much, much later. I know Coach Ehrman is talking about, he'll know how well he did 20 years from now when his players are young men and fathers and husbands and have a life of their own. He'll know what type of character he instilled with those players. Just defining purpose. I think purpose needs to be defined through a number of different questions. Questions I put down is, why do we do what we do? What's the reason behind it? what motivates us when we do not want to do what we know will help us. Things like getting up in the morning and going running. Things like going to the weight room when you're tired, when you're sore. Early morning practices, long bus rides, coming home late, having to get up in the morning to go back to school. A lot of sacrifices that an athlete has to do in order to compete at a high level. What is behind our willingness to sacrifice so much? These are some questions that are kind of individualized to the athlete, and that's essentially what their purpose is when you talk about why we play this game or why we coach this game. I have a slide, understanding your purpose. On one of the pictures there, under sacrifice, you see an athlete kind of putting in work. They're throwing a medicine ball against the wall. Why would you do that? It doesn't look like fun. It doesn't look like something that's really involved with baseball. But then you kind of see on the flip side, you're helping to develop your core. The next picture over, where it has glory, you see a guy who hit a home run, utilizing a lot of those muscles that he was, sacrificing during that morning workout in the weight room, throwing that medicine ball around. It was able to help provide him the strength needed to hit a home run. So why does he do it? Why does he get up and sacrifice and throw a medicine ball against the wall? Well, because it's going to help him be a better athlete. It's going to help him with hitting. It's going to get him, those results that provide him a bunch of joy. And that's why you sacrifice. Just moving on, looking at our, the program that I run. It's a high school baseball program, and we talk about purpose. And purpose is actually one of our 3 key elements that we talk about. We have 4 character traits that actually fall underneath purpose. We have preparation, accountability, discipline, and effort. So each of those kind of falls under purpose on why we do what we need to do, why we work the way we need to work. Preparation, you can't, John Wooden once said, you can't have confidence unless you are prepared. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Just a famous quote. Some of the coach's responsibilities include practice planning, scouting, making sure that the facility is prepared for practice, prepared to play games, and also budgeting. These are all things that coaches are responsible for doing as far as preparation. It's very important that they model preparation for their players. Players' responsibilities include academics, diet and hydration, mental focus, and training goals. Training goals can be a number of different things, strength and conditioning, or if it's just working on the game itself. Under accountability, we preach that you're accountable to yourself and to others. I showed a video there, for your viewing. One of the things that stands out is that great teams require great accountability from the video. Also, very important that players understand that they are accountable to each other. So their actions don't just affect themselves, it affects other people as well. Discipline, one of the mottos is foot on the gas, not the brake. Okay, we stress that type of attitude. Just keep pushing forward. With purpose, you have that discipline that's going to help you obtain your goals. And then I also noted that purpose drives discipline. And there's a video along with that slide. And then lastly, effort. Effort is controlled you versus you type of mentality. Having purpose and understanding why you need to do what you're doing will drive your effort. I couldn't make this video without acknowledging Ken Ravizza. I had the pleasure of working with Ken Ravizza for 4 years while I was in college. I put a video in there of him talking. A couple of things stood out. One, that elite athletes have a love-hate relationship with their sport. Going through the motions versus having meaning in your training. He kind of goes through an exercise where, you have to have purpose in everything you do if you want to be successful. There are certain times where you're going to hate your sport, but you have to do some things in order for you to really appreciate the good things that come with the sport.